Two national parks in the United States are solely dedicated to their canyons, the Grand Canyon and Canyonlands National Park. One you've definitely heard of, and the other maybe you haven't. Today I'm going to show you around this incredible park as I visit viewpoints and get lost on some hikes, as one does when they wear glasses for a living. But I'm also going to make a bold claim.
Alright, I'm gonna say it. This is better than the Grand Canyon. Don't hurt me.
Canyonlands National Park is located west of Arches National Park, literally just across the street from it. And yet this park sees significantly less traffic than Arches, despite its proximity.
Kinda like this all cloudy and spooky.
As I drove into the park, there was not another soul in sight.
Well, I didn't have any expectations for this place, but they just went up a little bit.
My first stop in the park was Mesa Arch.
You know what I don't understand is the human fascination with arches. I myself am fascinated by arches, but it's just a rock with a hole in it.
The Mesa Arch is the most photographed place in the park at sunrise. The sun peers through the arch and illuminates the canyons below. It was cloudy at sunrise, but even the early morning sun was just as stunning, shining through the subtle arch. The arch itself wasn't anything too crazy compared to the arches at Arches National Park, but the canyons below were truly stunning, and I couldn't wait to see more of the park. My next stop was at the Aztec Butte, which is a hike where you get to climb this sandstone butte, which is quite steep, with trail markers spaced out pretty far from each other and an unclear path. I know, a recipe for getting lost.
Alright, to be honest, I have no idea where this trail is. Alright, the trail is marked by these little guys.
Next one is up there somewhere.
Seriously though, does it get better than that? Canyons and snow-capped mountains? Come on. Okay, next we gotta climb up there and around.
This trail offers increasingly incredible views of the surrounding canyons and the mountain ranges off in the distance. La Salle Mountains off to the east, the Henry Mountains off to the west, and the Abajo Mountains to the south. As you near the top of the butte, the trail becomes even more confusing with the markers, and this is where things went wrong for me.
Alright, if you go by the name Mom, I apologize for what you're about to see.
This trail marker to my right made me believe that I had to keep going straight, when in reality I was supposed to climb up. This led to a rather perilous cliff walk that I believed to be part of the trail. But as I continued on, the trail narrowed more and more, and that's when I realized I was not in Kansas anymore. This mistaken cliff walk allowed me to see the hollowed out sandstone near the top of the butte, which looked like it contained remnants of the architecture of the ancient Puebloans who inhabited the land back in the 1200s. Just when I thought I'd reached the end of the cliffside, I rounded the corner and saw that it continued on.
This is fine. This is fine. It's pretty cozy. Just on a cliffside. Oh, this is terrifying.
I carefully made my way down, and finally, after what felt like forever, I found a safe, sturdy place to finish climbing up to the top of the butte.
Okay, so we made it to the top. I have no idea how I'm going to get down. It looks so fragile, like the wind could knock it over any second now.
At the top, I was met with the most incredible view, which I had all to myself.
This is crazy. What?
Instantly, all my fear from walking along the cliff edge melted away, and I lost myself in the canyons below. The depth and the length, along with the stunning red coloration, it was absolutely breathtaking. I probably could have stayed up there the rest of the day if I let myself.
This is the craziest hike of all time.
But I reluctantly left because I was intrigued to see the other half of this trail, which contains the granaries.
After coming down the correct way, I realized I went up the wrong way, and that cliffside fiasco could have been avoided. That's not part of the trail, so just endangering my life for no reason. We do the old sit and scoot technique. Works. rings like a charm.
The granaries were utilized by the ancient Puebloans to store grains, beans, corn, medication, and anything else that they would need throughout the winter. These structures have stood the test of time since they were built back in the 1200s. So make sure to be respectful and don't touch them, so they can be seen by all for centuries to come. Preserved all this time too. It's really awesome.
This is pretty cool. Not a bad view either. This hike has moved up to the #1 hike I've done so far. So much fun! Who would have thunk in Canyonlands National Park? I think it's because I survived, and I shouldn't have because I'm such a klutz. I feel like I could just go home. That's all there is.
Canyonlands was full of even more surprises as I went on to the Upheaval Dome hike. The view from this hike looks down into the canyons below, where the rocks below are discolored and are forming into a dome, which is unlike anywhere else in the park. The interesting thing is, geologists do not know exactly why this happened. There are two main theories, one being that the salt beneath the surface bubbled up over time and deformed the surrounding rock and forced it upward, two being that a meteorite hit this area and created a crater. Over time, the crater collapsed in on itself, leaving the dome that we see today. Either way, this thing looks incredible, and is such a strange contrast to the rest of the park. My next stop in the park was at Whale Rock, which is a smooth, long rock coming out of the earth, looking like a whale breaking the surface of the ocean. A quick hike up this rock provides you with panoramic views of the park. Everywhere you turned, you were met with a unique feature of this gorgeous land. And again, I was able to enjoy this hike all to myself in this underrated national park.
Well, this was unexpectedly awesome. Doesn't that almost look like a hand? Yet another underrated hike here at Canyonlands National Park.
Then I made my way to Green River Overlook. This overlook is exactly what I was thinking of when I pictured Canyonlands. Vast canyons devoid of any color, which really isn't an accurate representation of what this park really is. A better representation of the park is taking a hike along the Grand Viewpoint Overlook, where you get a chance to walk along the canyon edge and peer into the valley below, with a view of the White Rim Trail below. The White Rim sandstone layer is more resistant to erosion, as you can see the wide caps atop parts of the eroding canyons beneath it. From this overlook, you can really see how massive and vast this park is. The hike takes you down this thin peninsula, where you are surrounded by gorgeous views on all sides.
So I didn't realize you get to see two sides. This is the other side.
And it was the perfect place to watch the sunset. My biggest takeaway from this day was to always force myself to get up out of bed and give things a chance. That morning it was raining, and I contemplated not even going out to this park at all. I looked at pictures and thought it looked kind of brown and boring, and not worth getting out of bed for. I was completely wrong, clearly. This place had vibrant colors and so many unexpected surprises, making it one of my favorite days so far into my trip. And a lesson learned, which I now carry with me. Always give things a chance. It might not be what it seems on the surface.
This was perhaps the most unexpected and best national park ever. Definitely better than the Grand Canyon.
And I apologize, but you're about to see way too much footage of this sunset. I didn't have the heart to cut it, and it was just so beautiful, so I thought I would share anyways. Sorry!
We're gonna try to get the mud off my car. Some kid sprayed me.
Dang kids.
If you like travel content, remember to subscribe to follow along. I will be posting every Tuesday and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, what looks more Capitol Dome-y, that one? Or that one?
Historical graffiti probably was illegal back then, and now it's being preserved by a government agency.